Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Tracy again, a long-time comic book industry veteran for DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, Image, IDW, CrossGen, a little bit of everybody. And I'm going to be focusing on the artist. Pretty much every artist in comics, they know he's the king. He's one of them. There's a handful of them in the last 40 years or whatever, but what happened, he was so influential because he was so different and it was so sharp without being, how do I put it, he knew how to put spaces between the lines. He didn't have to do all this crissy-cross stuff, you know, and even that was a later thing with the Image guys. But I don't know, he started this whole new language. He kind of had a ripple effect because early Brian Hitch looked a lot like Alan Davis, and a whole bunch of early Paul Pelletier, then it begat Scott Eaton, which begat, well, then there's Adam Hughes, and Terry Dodson, etc., etc. And even though Adam Hughes sort of became the big influence, I think Alan Davis and Dave Stevens of Rocketeer helped, shape his sensibilities. So we got some good stuff going on here. And here are some other collections focused on one particular creator. Jim Aparo, Out of Focus Man, Marshall Rogers, Gene Colan, Don Newton. There we go. Okay. Legends of the Dark Knight. Now, you know what's funny? I didn't really buy a lot of Batman because for a while there, it was kind of mediocre. I mean, like in the early 80s, I just wasn't feeling it. It was kind of, I can't quite explain. But when the new Robin came along, it was after Dick Grayson quit. And he was the new Teen Titans. And then shortly after that, he had identity problems. He didn't like just being Robin. And he'd been with the Teen Titans for a couple of years. I mean, in month time, but who knows what it was in storytelling time. And then he just wanted to fashion his own identity. So after a while, Batman, after going the lone gun, he got himself a new Robin. And also Alfred helped out with this whole situation too. He was a kid whose parents had gotten murdered, and he kind of helped shape that guy's sensibilities. And Jason back then was an innocent guy. I really hate that he got killed, and then they brought him back. I'm not into that Red Hood shit, but what are you going to do? Written by Mike W. Barr, Alan Davis, and Paul Neary on the art. Beautiful stuff. And what's funny, like I said, I wasn't buying much of Batman because it went over to like Marv Wolfman and Len Wein, and while those guys I thought they did their best stuff at Marvel. I thought their Batman was very so-so, it was alright, but I wasn't picking it up. Look at that, Robin is smiling. Ooh, outrageous, scandalous even. Mike W. Barr, who created Camelot 3000 with Brian Boland, and he's just done a lot of great stuff. He did a couple graphic novels with Batman. Paul Neary, Alan Davis and Paul Neary. Paul Neary would go on to draw like many issues of Mark Gruenwald's Captain America, and it's really cool. I mean, it's not as good as this. It's not very flashy, but it serves the story, and the stories that Gru wrote were so good that you didn't mind. John Workman, Walt Simonson's letterer, and he's also a great artist in his own right. Adrian Roy, Denny O'Neil editor. Can't go wrong. And here you go, Catwoman with her costume that I think it was her original costume in the 50s. Maybe 60s. Can someone let me know below in the comments section if I'm right or not? So, they know each other's identities, and she's like, why don't you and I discuss that, Bruce, at my place alone? Please, Selena, not in front of the boy. Oh, brother. So, for a while, Jason Todd, he finally got with the program and became more agreeable. And then later on, they made him a jerk so they could kill him. Not anybody shed a tear if he died. This is great. When suddenly you're discovered, a whole gang attacks you and they're armed. No problem, Bruce. A few capsules of tear gas. Wrong, Jay. The utility belt is a tool, not a cure-all. You have to learn how to solve problems without it. And that kind of stuff's really great. The stories were, serious, but they're treated as mysteries more than anything, than, gun-toting stuff. Holy Gutenberg, let's go. Not so fast, Robin. Never do that again. Okay, Batman. Cute little in-joke, but it's not like over the top. Really, really amazing stuff here. And, this is 1985. He was still pretty new, pretty new guy. He did, I think, Batman and the Outsiders, or he did the Outsiders after Batman left. And look at this variety of characters there. And you could see all the influences. You can see how an Adam Hughes, a Terry Dodson, a Paul Pelletier, a Scott Eaton, and others just... in fact, I've worked with some of them, and they always have Alan Davis books near them. Because, he's the gold standard for good comics. He's not gritty, but he's not goofy either. So, hiya, Bats. Hello, Rhonda. Staying out of trouble? Not hardly. So, he gets milk. Make that too. So, she makes him uncomfortable. I like your profile. You've got good sense. Let's go, Robin. And, how about that Joker? He does amazing Joker in his own fashion. Up. Panel I wanted to show you that I loved. Find it on your own. Buy a copy. And here is the Scarecrow, a longtime foe. It's a great. It's a really fresh twist. Mike W. Barr, I wish he was still in the industry. I don't know what happened, but there's people who are just like, this stuff's old. But no. Some stuff is timeless. Walt Simonson's Thor is timeless. So there's an explosion. Batman has to rescue them, and he's like, you can't go there, you get burned alive. Well, not if you keep hosing me down. So he goes in, gets soaked, goes in there. Look at that face. He's like, I don't know. But, it's so, I don't know what it is. It's such an honest reaction to such a situation. And they're like, why do you take a chance like that? I don't know, but I'd do it again in a minute. Let's see what happens is, Joker came up with the opposite of the fear gas. He created a gas that makes you cocky, fearless, reckless, and ends up jumping out there because Scarecrow says, suit yourself, but I bet you can't leap up from that floor into the ground and live. I can. So I love the spin. I love the different... there's Batman thinking things rationally, but he got some of the gas. I'm sure Crane has a whole place ready to traps. Like, I care. I could take anything he could dish out without breaking a sweat. No, that's Crane. Crane's drug talking. Really. And I love, the right illustrator really knows how to make him like a malleable figure. They show in a flashback that he was just kind of like this long neck kind of geeky kind a guy, and it's like there's some never mind. He starts getting excited again about something. He's like, no, I gotta clear my head. Great. And I'm gonna jump into I'm going to jump into Detective Comics, 400 or something, 450. The reason the cover is not shown is Alan Davis did not do the cover. I think it was Dick Giordano, but it's the splash page. Certain chapters are by Alan Davis, and other chapters are by different creators. So it's a potpourri of stuff. Look at that, and it all works. I've never really seen Paul Neary. Well, Paul Neary is great too, but Alan Davis, I've never seen him do a little Carmen Infantino in one of the chapters for Elongated Man. Who is that guy? Anyway, then we go back to Batman, and so they all try to solve this problem. Don't get past that. Mad Hatter, one of those dumb characters I hated. But, you know, the previous couple issues were so good. I was like, well, these guys really delivered on, you know, a Joker story, which I thought, even then, I thought Joker was played out. But it wasn't until like the early 90s that they really, you know, he really got a reboot. Not a reboot, but he just kind of got some fresh, a fresh coat of paint. I don't know. So you got the header coming out of Arkham Asylum. I'll be good. And he's like, yeah, it'll be the most important decision you'll make. You, check out Jason. How cool is that? And grabs a newspaper. And I believe that I'm sure Alan Davis had a lot to do with the co-plotting, because they just seem to work together so well. I can't imagine, and I don't even think it was a case of, you know, I feel like drawing this. I feel like drawing, you know, some chick with like breasts the size of bowling balls. And I know it was just what serves the story. And like I said, he's the artist. I don't know anybody who doesn't respect him. And there's Robin. And no, it's not the 1-900 number that people had to dial to see if he dies or lives. And of course they killed him because Jason Todd, in fact, he was sort of building up to being kind of a jerky kid. And I don't know exactly who wrote it, because there were several Batman titles. Well, several different writers, actually. There was only Batman and Detective. I mentioned in a previous episode there was Legends of the Dark Knight, which actually was the very second book that had Batman in the title. Legends of the Dark Knight. So that's spectacular. Yeah, Jason recovers from something or other. Oh gosh, I can't deprive you of the covers. Is there a cover? Oh, I see. Pages stick too much. There. Oh yeah, this is from, you know, I never really read this run because, you know, having McFarlane go into Neary, it just seems really awkward. And, you know, maybe it's great. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a Reaper guy. And such great colors. And this time it's Richard Starkings on the... now that effect, it reminds me, I had to do a bat signal once or twice when I was inking Greg Land, and I used grease pencil. And also, you have like a warm gray pencil and a cool gray pencil of different percentages, anywhere from like 1 to, you know, 90, and then 100 would be black. So, just too cool. And this one looks like a really, wow. And then it looks like they went back, whoever it was, I don't know if Alan Davis decided to do it, or I get the idea he trusted Paul Neary and talked to him over the phone, but it's like there's also scrapes. That's amazing stuff. And here's the one shot that came out a few years later. The colors are exquisite. And there's just nothing, you can't find fault with anything. It's just amazing stuff. And I love these colors because they're setting a mood. It's like, for whatever reason, you know, there's a hue that's kind of pink. It could be like the setting sun reflecting on something, and then it gets a little darker, hot pink, you know, when something exciting happens. So this is a great costume design. And only time you'll see him with eyes. Leave the boy alone. And let's see, is there anything else I want to show you? And like I said, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to spoil everything. Okay, here's when Batman did Batman Black and White, where a ton of creators did like 4 issues on, like, I think a double-sided series. See, I'm even covering up the previous end of the story. This was, they had, what is it, a cover by Barry Rinzel Smith, and they had Jim Lee, and they had like a whole bunch of artists, who have completely different styles. And Alan Davis, he brings it, you know. He's not a slave to the color. Okay, now we got that. Well, I'm not done yet. Okay. This came out in 2002, believe it or not. There's some pages that aren't printed as well as they should have been, but here's another book you might not even know about. This one under my radar entirely. It was it's exactly what it says, Marvel Tales by Alan Davis. These were from annuals, a Fantastic Four annual, Daredevil annual, Wolverine annual, Thor annual, and I just came across this. I didn't know it existed. And writer and penciler, and Mark Farmer. He's like the god of ink. And Javier Rodriguez. Also, Alan Davis did there was a while where Marvel was doing these double-sized issues called The End, and it would show you, like, it came off of, like, this idea that Peter David did a story about, like, the very last Avengers story. So he decided to do, like, the very last days of the FF, the very last days of Captain America, So that's where it's not in this story, but he did it, and it looks great. Okay, let me see. And then we go to Daredevil. Let's see. There we go. My dog's yapping out there. Silly little guy. Bullseye. I mean, he could take any character and make it amazing and make it his. Because he doesn't have to hide anything. I mean, there's a lot of creators that really hide their shortcomings and clandestine, yeah. Look at Wolverine, badass. I remember, like, in the late '90s, there was this era where Alan Davis and Paul Neary did X-Men for a while, Uncanny X-Men. Well, that was the first time I picked it up in a long time, and there's just so much greatness going on. That's as badass as anybody else. But it's just done with this certain nuance, this certain language that he uses. There's the covers. Oh, epilogue. Oh, yeah, Thor. The Truth of History. There we go. When I inked Scott Eaton for like 5 issues, the last 5 issues that Dan Issues run of Thor, 75 through 79, you could see a lot of Alan Davis in Scott's style. I mean, no swipes. It's just that there's so much. I don't know what it is. It's just great. I'm beyond words. Oh, this is one of the friggin'. Yeah, it's back when they decided everybody should have a different word balloon with different lettering styles, and man, I friggin' hated that. I hated that so much. And also, Human Torch, he had his word balloons were orange, and they had flames at the top, and the thing had like these broken letters. It was just stupid. It's overkill. You can't take away from the art with all that. And there was a lot of that in the late 90s, especially the covers. They'd have like the lettering for the title overshadowing the rest of the cover, and there's some ugly covers at the time. And there you go. So a little bonus there. So you may not have known of either of these, and tell me what you think in the comments below. I love doing these things, and I take no money. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any commercials, but I'm just sharing you my love of comics. And but it would be great if you haven't subscribed, please do, and click like. And if you subscribe, you can hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications when I do a new video. And also, if you know any other fans that would love, even if it's Alan Davis or anything Marvel or DC, I've got plenty of episodes covering both those companies and a lot more. So, if you could share it with somebody, that would be wonderful. Because I don't know, I'm all about the passion of comic books, and that's about it. And everybody have a good day. Talk to you later.